along my journey, it's just been such a beautiful path for me. And it just keeps like unfolding layers and layers of learning more and more expansion, more connection, and just better relationships. And so I'm really loving that. And just people being able to meet me and kind of feel me, for me not to be afraid or guarded or keep my armor up. And when I talk to them or communicate with them, whether it's a colleague or a friend or even one of my patients, just for me to speak to them from a place of love and not from fear. Because we do live in kind of, with media and everything, we live in a fear-based society, and we kind of get held in that energetic sometimes because so many things in life are happening around us. And so to meet and to be embraced by others with, you know, a loving gesture or a word or a smile can really change someone's day. And it makes you feel good too, so. Of course, as always, set healthy boundaries for yourself and don't allow yourself to be disrespected or mistreated by anyone. You know, you've got to be nice to yourself first. So anyway, I'm going to start with some of the questions that I've had. And a really common question that I have, and I've shared it in some other videos, but I love to kind of expand upon it, is, you know, how do I begin as a novice to learn Tantra? And that's, you know, a question that I had too. And before I even had my first, you know, what I understood as a Tantra experience, I was in, you know, Barnes & Noble. It was probably like 15 years ago. And I found like some dummy guide to Tantra. And I bought the book and I went home and I put the book on my shelf. I did not open it up because I was under the impression that that would be something that I would share with a lover at a later time. So I was like, well, whenever I find a lover or partner who would be interested in this, then I can, you know, jump into this and learn everything that's in this book. But right now it's just me, so I can't get started yet. And that's a big misconception. And that delayed my journey quite a bit, but you know. Then later I ended up, you know, dating someone who, someone that he had dated was a Tantra coach, and he had, you know, really embodied a lot of the things with Tantra. And when I was able to be with him and experience certain things, then later I opened that same book, and it was like all about like solo practice and stuff, like how to do things on your own. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could have been doing this whole time and having this great experience for myself. And I was just sitting here waiting for someone who'd really want to dive deep, because most people approach relationships or sex, you know, intimacy with just things that they have in mind from images that you see through Hollywood or through porn. And so no one's really thinking that they can have this experience. So then it really is hard to like meet someone else who's going to be like, oh yeah, P.S. by the way, you want to do some Tantra sex? I mean, that's like not a conversation they usually have. You know, people are more familiar with Kama Sutra and let's do a position, then let's have an experience and let's have a really good connection on a deeper level, instead of just like the different ways you can physically bring your bodies together. Like on a soul level, how can you connect? You know, because the soul is limitless, it's expansive. And our bodies are just, you know, a small part of what our soul is, you know, lives in and is carried around in to have this experience we have. So anyway, as far as a solo practice, you know, I did create the Daily Dozen because it's a self-love program and it's an email series. And so if you just click the link in my Instagram profile, it'll take you to the links for the Daily Dozen. You can see testimonials, or there's a video that's a sneak peek into the Daily Dozen so that you can see if it's something that resonates with you. But it's a big self-love practice because that's what Tantra is. Tantra is a lot about love. And it is a way of, it starts with the love and self-care, self-love, but it also goes into some self-pleasure. And so you first have to learn to have a really good practice and be really in touch with yourself as far as loving yourself, being here for yourself, knowing how to experience pleasure in your body, understanding your body and what your body desires, what your heart desires. And if you can't, express that to yourself, how are you going to find the words to express it to a partner? And we need to be able to communicate with others what kind of connections we want to have and what we're looking for in a relationship or with intimacy, so that they know how to meet us in those places. But if we don't even know for ourselves, we can't expect someone else to be a mind reader. We're the one who's going to know ourselves the best. So it's really important for us to love ourselves the most. So that's the email course you have lifetime access to. It's been getting great results. And it does have a lot of things that were questions today. Some of my questions were, how do I start learning about Tantra? That would be a great way to start learning. How do I begin a self-love or pink Tantra practice? My daily dozen is a pink Tantra practice, and it manifests in having more love. You have more love within yourself, and it creates more love in your life, because you just kind of vibrate from the setting of like love. Just kind of think like if you're tuning in on the radio and you want to change the channels and go to a different station because there's something else that you like, or some music makes you feel better and brings out a different experience and makes you feel happy or a different emotion than another channel might. You just have to tune into that frequency. And when you're tuned into that frequency, other people that are tuning into that frequency, they will match up with you. And that's the kind of people that you will bring into your existence on a daily basis. That's what you're going to encounter. People that are like you. Like attracts like. So if you're wanting someone that loves big and has a certain way of living their life, the best way to attract that is to be that first yourself. So we often spend so much time like looking out at other people and being like, oh, you need to fix this and you need to do this and you need to do that, but we don't take the time and say, hey, like, what do I need to do for me? And a lot of times, instead of being frustrated in relationships we have, they're really just showing you, people are hold a mirror up to you for you to see for yourself the things that you also need to work on for you. And so as you do that inner work and as you vibrate more highly in a frequency of love and you're more loving and happy and satisfied, you will attract people in your life that also have those qualities, which is really nice when you're dating and looking for a partner, when you're looking for friendships, when your work, all kinds of things in life, just the experiences that you want to have. So just kind of like try to figure out how to change your channel and try to change your frequency so that you receive different kinds of experiences and more positive, loving experiences that you want, or more passionate experiences in your life. But you're going to have to be passionate with yourself too a little bit. So I'm here to help you with that. Another really great question that I had, let's see, I have to write these down. There were several today. So let's see here. And thanks again, everyone. It's so nice to see all of you here. So one person was like, how do I have a Tantra session with you? So on my website at yestantra.com, there is a Hire Me section, and you can look there. And I am creating some packages and a special program I'm coming up with. So I'm going to have something that makes it a little more clear for you instead of just something per the hour. I'm working on that. But under the Hire Me section, you can even email me. And if you want to book a discovery call, you can do that there as well. That's just to kind of figure out a plan of what would be best for you. It's just like a 15-minute call. So whenever I do work with people, sometimes people get a little twisted or confused. I am not having tantric sex with my clients. That's not what I offer. And so it's kind of funny. It's like I'm a coach, and just like if on a football team, the coach will guide the team. The coach isn't going to go out there and play football with the team. So I'm just here to like give you guys all the winning moves so you can be like a champion of your own love life and your sexual energy, and use that so that you can have better experiences, not just in the bedroom, but outside the bedroom when you walk out into the world, like how you live your life. And if you see a lot of people, sometimes you meet people that you can kind of tell how frustrated that they act in their lives. You're like, we've all felt that. Something like, wow, they really need to have sex, or because that level of frustration that they're having in their bedroom shows outside and in the world how they move and how they flow through the world. So let me look at some comments, and I'm going to go back to some questions. Loving all the way from Brazil. Oh, hey Alex. Oh yeah, I would love to visit Brazil, and I love all the curvy goddesses there. So beautiful. Hey Maria, I need to learn more about being in touch with myself. Yes, Maria, my daily dozen practice, it's a really great introductory course that really helps you to get more in touch with yourself. But it also, I developed this and I made it at a lower price point than some of the private coaching, because one, it gives you a way to see my coaching style and what I have to offer everyone here, and the message that I'm delivering, the wisdom, the expertise that I can share with all of you. And then you can decide after that, where you would like to build upon more, and which areas seem to need a little more attention, or which parts of the practice work best for you. So it is an email delivered course, and it's at a great cost, much less than, me charging $150 to $200 per hour for a private session. It's just a great introductory foundation for you to build a Tantra practice on. And I'm going to have more courses coming up, and you can also sign up for my newsletter on my website, and I have a Jade Egg program that's going to be coming up as well, that I have lots of things in the works, so always creating. Do you still have that dummy guide? I do still have that guide. It's I think it's I have to take a picture of it and send you. But it's, just like one of the dummy guides to tantric sex. It really has a lot of great information in there. And so it was really funny as I reflected and looked back on that after I went to some of my Tantra courses. I was like, I could have looked at this stuff. I could have gotten started so long ago. Hey, Goddess, thank you so much for your message. Yeah, Toddy, that misconception. Yeah, I think we all have that misconception with Tantra. We're like, oh, if it's about having sex for hours and hours, who's going to be up for that with me? Everybody seems to be about that quickie life, or just something on more of a shallow level. Okay, so let me check back here. I'm going to go to the next question. But yeah, my email course just makes it a much easier way to get started. Oh yeah, so excited. How did you get involved with Tantra? Okay, thanks for that question. How did I get involved with Tantra? I spoke on this in depth on my first IG Live, actually. And it is on if you go in my Instagram to my links, my link tree, there's one about a talk I did that I titled Soulgasm. So it was when I first really felt like my soul had an orgasm. And it was life-changing. And I go into that in that video. So go over there, and I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to have more information to share with you as well. But that I went into great detail on that, and it was quite an exciting story. It really was life-changing. So yay, so excited to hear about the Jade Egg. Thank you. Yeah, it's really a very powerful, transformative practice. About sex-deprived people, yes. Yeah, you can clearly see how people, are, how they feel about themselves by how they carry themselves and how they interact with other people, And so that's why it's really important, to love yourself, because when you do that, then you just have a lot more love for the world. And when you have more patience with yourself, you have more patience with other people. And when you have more empathy for yourself, you have more empathy for other people. And when you trust yourself, and you trust your instincts, and your body and soul is like, hey, you're really paying attention to me, and I'm really feeling like you're connecting with me, and so I'm really trusting the choices and the decisions you're making. And also, if you trust your instincts, your gut instincts, to tell you what's right or wrong for you. Just like even if you were to look at my Daily Dozen and you read the testimonials and you read about the program and it didn't resonate for you on a gut instinct level, you just didn't feel like it was for you, then don't do it. Always trust your instincts, number one. But always, I would have some curiosity. It's like an invitation for you to experience something different, but trust and honor your instincts always. So when you trust yourself, you love yourself, and you care for yourself, it shows, and you show other people this high standard you hold for yourself of how you expect to be treated by others, by lovers, by friends. So it's really important. So I also have a thing you can sign up on yestantra.com to be notified when the Jade Egg program launches, specifically just for that. And let's see. And Todd, I love your question. I love that you're fascinated. And I did talk the Pink Tantra. A lot of that is with the Daily Dozen. I would highly recommend that, because that would be a great starting place for you. And then we can go beyond that when you're ready. But that is the foundation. These are the practices that I teach my clients, and for them to get started so that they can be prepared for what we're going to build upon. Okay? It does not do anyone any good to learn how to be a great lover and not be happy with themselves, or not to be loving to themselves, because then they're, like, it's not fair to someone else. You're just like going to bust all these hot moves on somebody else, and then when they really want to be intimate and connect with you, you're not even in a good vibration with yourself, and you're just going to have a dysfunctional relationship. It doesn't matter if your relationships have good sex if you're dysfunctional and you're not happy. Like, what's the point? Hooking up and connecting with someone who's tormented? I don't think so. I'll pass on that. I've done that, been there, done that. Not anymore. So suggestions for different breathing techniques. And again, I cover breathing techniques on my daily dozen program. But for anyone, what I will share with you is breath. Breathing deeply is very important for your body. And we get so uptight in society in the way that we breathe, but even I take care of children as well, and little babies after surgery and things like that too. And one of the things that we look at when we count a baby's respirations and how many breaths per minute, we put our hand on their stomach and we look and listen at the rise and the fall of their stomach. Because babies, naturally, we breathe more deeply. That is our natural response. By nature, what we do. However, then as we grow up, we're conditioned, and people around us don't breathe or sigh. We don't want to make so much noise with our breathing, right? So we're more restricted, and then our breathing is more local, just into our chest, into our lung area, and we don't breathe down into our bellies as much anymore. So doing some techniques of like breathing really deep into your belly and slowly is really nice, and it's really good also with controlling orgasm, and also sometimes with females, if they tend to tense up right before they're going to have an orgasm, what's really happening, and then the orgasm is not as powerful or it goes away, is that you didn't give it the breath. I mean, breath is life. Give your sex life some life, resuscitate your sex life. You know what I'm saying? and breathe into it. And so then your orgasms will be more powerful that way as well. So breathing is a great tool. Also, when you're around an environment and there's like negative energy or negative people around you, sometimes we also tense up with that, but you don't want to hold that debris within you. And I just got to see this great teacher, Sasha Cobra, and she had a very powerful message with this. And I really loved her analogy, and she just said that, the eyes and the mouth are like, it's like the doors, and the eyes, the doors and the windows to your soul. And so whenever things are coming through, just like if you're like spring cleaning, you're letting the gunk out, you're going to open those things up so that stuff can move and flow through there. So when you're around something and we're around negative energy, sometimes we tense up and we restrict. But really, you just need to breathe through that and allow that to flow and pass you, and breathe it and exhale it back out and say, like, that's not for me. And that's really important. But also the breathing is really important for orgasms as well. So best for me personally, you have to check with oils, like how they can disintegrate or weaken, like latex for condoms and things like that. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying if you're just for massages and not the impact that it will have on STD prevention or something like that. But if you're giving a massage to someone, I personally like coconut oil a lot. I think coconut oil is really great. And so also, if you want to end up using your mouth through some of that too with the massage, if you want to add that to with your partner, then it doesn't have a bad taste to it. And it's really great for your hair and for your skin. So lots of benefits from that. And then someone asked me a question and said, what about, when your wife doesn't enjoy oral, but it turns you on? So there can be a couple of things. So it's kind of better sometimes when I'm able to have a conversation with someone as I guide them through these things, because there are also other questions that I would have with this, so I could go more in depth on it. But I'll just touch lightly on this, okay? So what happens is you have to look and see, like, has she ever enjoyed oral with you? Did she maybe initially in the beginning of the relationship she enjoyed oral, now she's not as much? Has she had any kind of trauma or anything like that makes her shut down or makes her feel uncomfortable with that? Or is she just really self-conscious about that body part? Because sometimes women can be really self-conscious. They're afraid that there's an odor or something. And, sometimes females are like, I just would not want to do that to another female, right? And so, some females would rather like have oral with a male as opposed to a female. And so the idea of doing that to a female is not a turn on for them. And so they just can't even imagine that that's a turn on for you. And so, there can be some things around that as well. But also, maybe with what you're doing, maybe she's not really comfortable communicating with you, like what she really needs with oral. Because, sometimes like the people with oral, like they'll want to focus a lot like on the clitoris, and for me personally, like I'm way too sensitive. I just need indirect attention there. I do not need, like, for me, I want attention in other areas. It's lower down, like more towards the opening of the vaginal area at the bottom part, like kind of where the perineum is, like right in that area is a lot of really great nerve sensation for me. And everyone is different, and we have thousands and thousands of nerve endings, and so everyone has their own their own pleasure points along that, of certain areas that will have more pleasure for them and some that have less, or some that maybe if you give it attention, it's just really too stimulating or to the point of having discomfort. So if she's not comfortable sharing that with you or kind of guiding you along with what you're doing and you're just enjoying it and she's not, you could see why she wouldn't want to. So another thing you can do is like try to talk to her about it more, or even like just give her your mouth and say, how would, if this was your yoni, whatever, how would you lick this? Like, show me how you'd want to do that, or things like that, so that she can just kind of lick your lips or do whatever kind of sucking or the kind of sensation, how much sensation she needs, and guide you that way. And that might be a playful way to open up into that. So, there's other reasons, and talking to your partner in a place where before you're going to be intimate and like outside of the bedroom, so it doesn't get to be a stressful conversation in there, and just see like how that is, and just even maybe say like even words of affirmation, like even talking positively to the vagina, the yoni, what pussy, whatever you want to call it, and just saying like words like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, and things like this, because the person may have some body shame, and just showing your partner how beautiful you think that is, how much pleasure you get from it, can be really healing as well. So it all depends upon what is the reason that she's not open to this, and that's something that only she can speak on. And also, if you would want to refer her to me, and if she could have a conversation with me about that. And that's another reason my Jade Egg program is really good. So you could sign up too, and whenever my Jade Egg program launches, you could gift that experience to her, because that might make her more open to that, because it does focus on pleasure and sensation in those areas as well. So great question. Thanks for sharing that. It's not easy to share these. This is this question, this person was really brave to share this. He says, why, when my wife is awesome, and he put awesome in all caps, okay, I still feel in need of another person? That's a really brave question. Sometimes your wife, your husband, whatever, your partner can be a really wonderful person, and they are very awesome, but sometimes even though you're having sex or you're having intimacy, you're not having the deep connection with them. So it's really important to, so you're not having that deep intimacy and stuff with them. And so if you're not having that deep connection with them, then you are not going to, you're going to feel like you're lacking because something is missing. Because you can go through all the mechanics, and you can even bring each other to orgasm. You can have children together. You can feel love for the other person. But if you don't know how to connect and have sex with them on a soul level, you can feel like something is missing. And your partner may also feel like something is missing. Another aspect is sometimes if we aren't being true to ourselves, and we're not doing self-love to ourselves, we're not having self-care for ourselves, we're not honoring our own bodies, you know what I mean? And we don't really love ourselves, which is why I created the Daily Dozen. we will feel something is lacking or missing, because really what you're missing most of the time is that you've forgotten to take the time to connect to yourself and give attention to yourself and to give love to yourself. So you don't feel completely fulfilled. You feel like something is missing. But sometimes really you have to look inward and see, instead of being distracted outwardly, like, oh, we want this other person, or we think we want this other thing, or the grass is green on the other side. Really, sometimes your dissatisfaction is really your dissatisfaction either with yourself, and that is getting in the way of you having a deeper connection, or maybe it's just time to try to do something with your partner and dive deeper and have like a soul level orgasm together and deepen that connection, because I'm telling you that can really enhance your relationship tremendously. So that's a really great question. So thanks for sharing that here, and no judgment there at all. I really appreciate you being brave enough to share, because many people feel this way. And that's why I love working with couples, because I think there's beautiful marriages and you can have so much love and admiration for one another, but we just need to learn how to connect in a way, because no one teaches us these things. We learn about sex either through watching porn. We learn about sex, not in a way in connecting. Okay, so this is a really good question also that I had about slow sex, basically is what I call it. And it's just like someone was like, I really want to know more about sex that has hardly any movement but focuses on flowing the energy between the partners. Now, that's really important, and that's what Tantra is about. Tantra is about slowing things down, because when you slow things down, you have more sensation. And that's a misconception a lot of people have. And so they'll have sex, or males that watch porn, they'll have sex and going really fast and hard, and you just creating all this friction, and you just think you're really doing a lot. But really the female receiving that isn't feeling as much sensation. Even you're not feeling as much sensation, because you're moving so fast that your brain can't even process the sensation of what it's actually feeling. So you need to slow things down. And when you can slow things down, you can increase the pleasure. In just stillness, sometimes you can feel so much more pleasure, more than when you go really fast, because when you're going so fast, your brain cannot even keep up with that movement. So it's really important to slow down. And energetically, and that's what the Tantra practice, the breath work, the self-love, all of those things tie in and allow you to touch more into the energy of your body, your chakras, things like that, and how to connect with someone on an energy level and have pleasure and have these energetic orgasms as well, that really, like I call a soulgasm, can be very life-changing. And if you want to hear more about that, if you missed that Instagram live, definitely check it out on my YouTube. And I explain it more in depth about how that was very transformative for my life. And that's why I now teach Tantra, because I want to empower other people to be able to experience deeper connection, more intimacy, more self-confidence, more love. Life can be so beautiful, and I just want all of you guys to have the best experience while we're here. Let me look. I'm going to just look back, everyone, and see if there's any other questions. Again, this will be on my Instagram stories for 24 hours. And then tomorrow I should have it up on, Breathing is Everything. I should have it up on YouTube. So please subscribe there as well. And my YouTube channel is Yes Tantra, and the link is here on my Instagram. So on my Instagram, it says Linktree links. It has so much stuff there, but definitely my Soulgasm videos at the top. That has gotten lots of views. And let me look again. I just want to thank all of you so much for taking the time to join me today. I believe it's next Tuesday. It will be a little earlier in the week. I'll post about that on Monday. And I'm just wishing you all the best. And if you have any questions or anything like that, just reply to the video here, or drop me an email through yestantra.com. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.